It's been almost 2 years since I picked up that 2011 Toyota Tundra Rock Warrior. Was that a good purchase? Stick around, let's find out. Welcome to this edition of Cope Designed. Man, crazy to think it's been almost 2 years since I've owned this 2011 Tundra. Bought it for my 50th birthday during the pandemic, I think. Bought it from CarMax, cost me $21,000. I think that was before tax. Had about 108,000 miles on it. Now, mind you, I would never buy anything from CarMax, but this was a one-owner vehicle and it had all the service records for it. When we ran the Carfax on it, you can find all the information. Was all dealer maintained, one owner. So 108,000 miles, it was in great shape. So I knew it was the car for me. Like a lot of you guys that have been looking for several months for that right car, and here it was. I was looking for, of course, a Tundra with four-wheel drive. I didn't want the Crew Max because it's only my girlfriend and I wanted the longer bed, 6.5 foot bed. If you get the Crew Max, you have a 5.5 foot bed. So I wanted that longer bed because there's only two of us, and there's ample interior space, as you'll see in a minute. A lot of you guys who are in the truck market, it's kind of hard to decide. I had 3 trucks, actually I had 2 trucks on my radar. One of them was the Ford F-150, but the one that I really wanted was the Ram 2500. But I don't know what happened to the truck market, but it got crazy in the last maybe 5 to 7 years. And brand new trucks are ridiculously expensive, as you guys are all aware. So I knew I couldn't squeeze a brand new truck into my budget, so I was looking for used. Nevertheless, even used trucks are still commanding high dollar. So it was the Ford F-150, but you know, they've got some reliability issues. I did a lot of research and I wasn't too confident on the reliability of an F-150. Dodge or Ram 2500s, those were out of my budget. When it came to making my purchase on a vehicle, the number one thing that I wanted was reliability. Reliability is number one for me, and you know, Toyota's track record is really unprecedented in the reliability world. We do a lot of camping, and we do a lot of off-grid camping. So we might be on some fire roads or on some dirt roads or on some overland trails for 20 to 30 miles. And if the vehicle breaks down, and let's say it's something like wheel bearings or a drive shaft, and I can't fix it out there in the backcountry, I'm screwed. That could be a $4,000 or $5,000 tow bill, and that's not in the budget. Got my first car at 17 years old, and I haven't looked back. I grew up in Southern California, and as a teenager, that's what you did. You got a car. Well, you got your permit at 15 and a half, not like these kids today. But you got your permit at 15 and a half, you were banging on that door at the DMV. And as soon as you turned 16, you were getting your driver's license. Like a lot of us, I grew up driving a standard vehicle. So cars have kind of been in my blood since I was a teenager. This may sound silly, but one of the reasons I went with the Rock Warrior when it came on my radar were these wheels. If I got a standard Tundra, I knew I'd have to upgrade the wheels. I just don't like the traditional wheels that the Tundra came with. So I gravitated towards the Rock Warrior, and it's kind of a distinct model. It's not super special. It's the predecessor to the TRD Pro, but without, you know, all the high-end suspension equipment. This particular vehicle has 33-inch BF Goodrich KO2 tires on it. Let's talk more about the exterior. I put a tint job on the windows. That's one thing I did. Another thing that I did is I put a leveling kit on it. I put these Eibach coilovers. Now, they're not coilovers that can be adjusted. They're fixed coilovers. And I put these Eibach shocks and coilovers on the vehicle, and I think it gives it a really nice stance. Now, if you want, you can go 35-inch wheels on these. Those are quite popular. But 35-inch wheels, and again, these are 35-inch wheels are going to cut into your gas mileage, and they might impact your speedometer reading. But I think these 33-inch KO2s and that Eibach leveling kit, I think it looks great with just that. One thing you can see is my Valhalla shield. Like a lot of folks around the country, us here in LA have been dealing with catalytic converter thefts. And so there's this guy, I can't remember what state he's in, it might be in Texas, but he makes this thing called the Valhalla Shield. And it's really cool. It covers up your catalytic converters and makes it much more difficult for thieves to get at. It's about $400, but I think it was a good purchase considering my deductible on this bad boy is $500. Hey, let's check out the interior and see what we got going on in there. If there are a couple things that stand out on the interior of this Tundra, it's how roomy it is. I'm 6'4", about 170 pounds, and there's a lot of room in this truck. Let's see if I can move it back a little bit. Yeah, I can still move it back a click or two. So if you're 6'5", I imagine you probably fit in here pretty comfortably. A lot of storage, like I mentioned, in this vehicle. You got 1, 2, 3 sunglass storage containers. You got glove boxes everywhere. There's door storage. I'll show you the storage in the back, which is really extensive. So there's a lot of storage in this vehicle. It's really roomy, and I'm glad I made this purchase. I looked at the Tacomas. I sat in a Tacoma. Way too cramped. Not to mention, it's underpowered. This car's got plenty of power. I mean, it's got like 375 horsepower, great torque, great power. This is an all-around much better vehicle, in my opinion, than a Tacoma for a guy my size. Now, granted, the Tacoma's much more nimble. The Tacoma's probably got better resale value, reliability probably about the same, but a lot of guys are using their Tacomas and they're outfitting them with overland gear, and that's really dragging down their gas mileage. Gas mileage, with the Tundra, not so much. About 11 or 12 miles to the gallon. Ouch. Let's take a look at the rear storage. Again, here's the back seat of the Tundra. It's really easy to kind of get that up there just like that. And you can see I got in there a jacket. I've got, what else? So I keep a jacket in there. I got some ammo for some reason, pair of gloves, fire extinguisher, and a first aid kit. Now I don't know if all Tundras come with that under seat storage. I don't think they all do, to be honest with you. I think it's an upgrade, but it's really valuable asset to have for storage purposes. Highly recommended. So let's talk about a couple of things I don't like about this Tundra, and there's not very many. One, the seat. The seats aren't very comfortable. It's really narrow, and where the seat kind of starts coming up on the edge, that kind of starts poking into my butt a little bit. So I put this little seat cushion on the driver's seat to kind of alleviate that. It's a truck, right? I know a lot of trucks come with leather seating now and heated seats, and they're all plush. This is a 2011 Tundra. It doesn't have any of those features. Don't really care for the seat. Another thing I don't like about it are the mirrors. There are those towing mirrors, but they stick too far out. These mirrors, really difficult to see the blind spot. You can get one of those little small tiny mirrors, right? And you kind of adhere it to your regular mirror. I just don't like the way those look. So two things I don't like is one of the seating, and the other is the mirrors. Third thing I don't like is the stereo system. Let's take a closer look at that. So this is the stereo CD player, quite old. Might as well have an 8-track player in it, for crying out loud. It does the job, but again, at some point I would like to get an upgrade. One benefit is it is Bluetooth enabled, so that's nice, and it sounds better when I'm playing any type of music through my phone. But at some point, again, that's going to need to be replaced. But that's quite expensive. I'm looking at about $1,500 is the price I was quoted for a new Alpine setup, new speakers all the way around. So that may come in the future. Here's the backup camera. Again, not great. Here's the camera itself. But I do love the storage of this vehicle. You can hold big drinks and big water bottles and all that great stuff. Great storage in this Tundra. So what's the future look like for this Rock Warrior, dubbed the Whale? A couple things I'd like to do at some point, like I mentioned previously. I'd like to get the stereo upgraded. I would like to get some bumpers as well. However, as you Tundra owners know, or prospective Tundra owners know, bumpers are not cheap. And I also want to get some ditch lights. Get a couple ditch lights for the front here, but I'll probably use them more as spotlights because these lights, as you can see, are starting to fade over a little bit. So thanks for tuning in to this edition of Cope Designed. We'll catch you on the next one.